Dear friends and flight simmers, welcome back to the channel, and today you are tuning in on what will be the first flight of a new flight sim series. For those of you who know my channel a little bit, you know that recently I've been active doing some cargo operations around the world, following some specific cargo routings, and yeah, today we are back in a cargo aircraft. You can see the beautiful 747 in the background. But yeah, we are on a bit of a special project, and since I have decided to follow around the Formula 1 circus around the world for a little bit. And the reason is actually last year already I started to think about this flight sim project, but last year of course it got cancelled due to COVID. But this year we get another chance, so this will be flight number 1 from Bahrain over to East Midlands in the UK. And yeah, well, why did I come up with this idea? Reason is, as you can imagine, when the Formula 1 travels around the world, there's quite a lot of cargo forwarding involved, so they always have quite a number of planes flying the stuff around they need. And basically for every race which is there's a couple of flights, of course, going to the race, and after the race going back to the home countries of the Formula 1 teams, or maybe even on to the next destination. And yeah, so for this flight we are doing a flight from Bahrain back to UK, which means it's after the race. The Formula 1 season kicked off in Bahrain on end of March, and I only started tracking these flights on Flight Radar after the race, so that's why we are doing the flight after the race. And throughout the season there are a couple of really interesting destinations. Of course we will not cover the entire Formula 1 schedule, as there's many European destinations where I'm quite sure they're not flying there, but instead doing it on the road, which makes a lot of sense. But then lots of overseas destinations as well, and those will be particularly interesting for us. And yeah, the thing is, I do require a bit of your help, guys, since these flights are sometimes really hard to track on Flight Radar. Most of them are chartered flights, so they are not really scheduled and hard to find in the skies. So if by any chance you ever happen to track a flight on the radar which you believe might be involved with the Formula 1, then I would be super happy if you could post it in the comments below, or even on my Discord channel, and then I would be super grateful for this. Just to give you an example, for this flight, or for this particular race in Bahrain, there has been really interesting flights going back after the race. So there has been, of course, cargo flight operation, mostly 747s over to the UK, to East Midlands, also to Doncaster and also Milan. And then there has, for example, been an A320 from Edelweiss going back to Zurich, which was most likely the Alfa Romeo team. And also there was, for example, a 777 Alitalia going back to Bologna, which was then most likely the Ferrari and maybe the Alfa Tauri team. So stuff like this, really, this is how it all comes together, and it makes kind of sense when you see it on the radar. Right, so that's on the idea. And yeah, today, let's talk about the flight we are doing today. So we are in the CargoLogic 747. I think the way it works is that all the cargo shipping or cargo flying is handled by DHL, but then DHL does not necessarily operate all these flights on their own. They also get other companies in to do the flights. So in this particular case, it seems like they have chartered the CargoLogic 747, which, by the way, has the beautiful call sign of Firebird. So today we're going to be operating Firebird 5314. And yeah, so that's that on the flight. Also, since we are on a long haul flight, let's have a brief look at the flight plan to know what we are up for today. So, as already mentioned, Firebird 5314 on the 30th of March from Bahrain over to East Midlands in the 747. departing Bahrain at 10:45, which is 13:45 local, and then getting to East Midlands at what will be around 6:30 p.m. local time. We are quite heavy today. I'm not sure if that's super realistic. Probably all the Formula 1 equipment is rather using more space than weight, but yeah, never mind, that's what we're having today. And flight time 6 hours and 26 minutes, block fuel of 82.7 tons. And yes, so that's pretty much the setup. Weather both here in Bahrain and also over at East Midlands is going to be super fine, so there should be no trouble regarding the weather. Right, okay, sorry for that really lengthy introduction, but I think the few words were needed to get kicked off on this hopefully very cool and beautiful flight sim project. And on that note, let's go inside the flight deck and then we can start to set up for this particular flight. Alright, so here we are. Now after all my talking, I think GSX is almost done with the cargo loading, yeah, 93%. I have entered the D-Link and here is the routing as well, so we can get the performance. And okay, I thought this was loading in automatically, but apparently not. Never mind, reserves today gonna be 10.1. Alternate will be London Heathrow, and then cost index will be 25. Initial cruise level of 320, and now cargo loading is completed. And step size we can leave it as it is for now. Right, regarding the departure, runway 30 right, and there are no sits, making it super easy. So what we will do is we will depart runway heading, which is 301. Quickly putting this in here. 301 like this, and first waypoint will be Egmore. So yeah, I think there is really not much information on the chart. I think we can do the right hand turn whenever we feel like doing it. And transition altitude is 13,000, so this goes in here and also in here like that. Cool, let's get the wind data. There's probably a bit of headwind today, so now it's 20.9 going down to 19.1, and it's still quite a bit, to be honest. So plenty of fuel on board. And yeah, now it wants us to close all the doors, which we can do, and then we need to do the performance calculations. So I have done the calculations using TopCat today, and yeah, we're gonna have a headwind, which is helping quite a bit. In fact, let's have a very quick look at the weather. So wind 90 knots from 330, and that's pretty much a headwind, helping us. No clouds, 24 degrees, 1013. So really beautiful weather here at Bahrain. And this is what it's giving us. I was quite surprised seeing we have a T-rate 2 departure, but then again the headwind is really helping us. So this goes to takeoff 2, climb 2. And then we have a temperature of 42 going in here, and this is leading us 97.9 on the calculation. It's 98.3, and I think that's really close enough. Should be fine. And then it will be a flaps 10 departure, and now these speeds are 158, 168 and 176, like that. Alrighty, so the 176, that goes in here, and so we have set up the MCP, LNAV, VNAV. Why is that door still open, I'm just wondering? I have an idea. It's probably the nose loader. Yeah, sorry. And now let's try again. Now it's closing, perfect. Okay, just trying to think. We're pretty much done here on the flight management system. So Bahrain and then EGNX are gonna be the first one. I'm just wondering why there are waypoints in there. Or was that EGNX the first one, or am I telling something wrong now? Yeah, okay, EGNX is the first one. So yeah, then after a while we just go direct EGNX. We don't really have to pay much attention to the first ones here. And I think, just thinking about it, let's go heading select for the departure instead of LNAV. That's the better choice for this departure. Right, now I believe as soon as the doors are closed, which should be the case, we can pop on the APU and then pop on the parking brakes as well and remove everything in terms of ground connections, and we can do some checklists. So, pre-flight checklist. Battery switch is on, of course. Standby power switch is on auto. Hydraulic demand pumps are off. Parking brake is set. Landing gear lever is down. Flap position indicator and lever agree, they are both up. Fuel control switches are cut off. Anti-ice is off. Oxygen is checked. Emergency exit lights are armed and altimeters are set now, and this needs to go to hectopascal. Right. Okay, so this goes to aux. All the fuel pumps come on. Window heats. APU is on. Beacons go to both. And quickly checking the fuel. Yeah, there's no fuel in the center tank. Okay. Perfect. So we can ask for pushback. And continue on the before start checklist. Hydraulic demand pump is on aux. Fuel load and pumps we have 82.6 tons on board, and fuel pumps are on. APUs on, beacons are on, doors are closed, and passenger signs, not even sure if we have them on here somewhere. Yeah, down here. Okay, this goes to on and on. Okay, now just waiting for GSX. And by the way, back there we even have a little bit of a skyline. To be honest, the scenery is not really the greatest one, but at least we have it in the sim, so that's the most important part. And we might even be able to use it for some Dreamliner flights of Gulf Air, for example. Alright, we have engines 3 and 4 running, and now we can start 1 and 2. And yeah, by the way, taxi is going to be pretty straightforward. Just left-hand turn here, right-hand turn. Taxi down the old and now closed runway, and then runway 30 right is back there. Also where the Gulf Air Airbus is just taking off. Alright, we have all the engines running, so let's see, those go to auto, and then APU comes off and packs come back on, like this. And what else? So trim, of course. Should be 6.5. so we need to trim it up a bit, like that. And then this goes to RTO. This goes to position 10. And then the flight controls. Full left, full right, neutral, full up, and full down, and neutral rudder is checked. Cool. And so the after start checklist: APU selector is off, packs are on, recall status on the TCAS, that's fine. Speeds are set, flaps are set to position 10 or coming to position 10, trim is set, flight controls are checked, auto brakes RTO. Cool, so we are good to go. Let's put on the taxi lights and release the parking brake. And then probably need a bit of power to get going. And yeah, as said, just this left-hand turn, right-hand turn, and down to the end of the runway. Alright, coming up to the final turn, I have set up the navigation displays, set up the transponder as well, and there seems to be no aircraft on the approach just now, so we are all good to go ahead. And while I was taxiing down here, I was thinking that, of course, today we are carrying the Mercedes AMG cars, since Hamilton won the first race. Sort of appropriate for us to carry the winner's car, but of course, no, just kidding. I have really no idea what particular freight these aircrafts are carrying. As I've mentioned before, there's quite a number of them. Going back to the UK, I think I saw at least 4 747 cargo planes leaving Bahrain for Doncaster and East Midlands. And yeah, we need to finish the checklist before takeoff checklist. I overshot this turn a little bit, but that's okay. Vital data is check packs are on and cabin crew is notified, but that's not applicable to us today. So we are ready to rock and roll. First flight, so to say, of our personal Formula 1 season. Very much looking forward to it. And power is established. Toga. Beautiful sound. Knots is checked, and ooh, the wind is pushing quite a bit. That's interesting. Although it's pretty much straight on the nose, we can see it here. Okay, coming up to V1. V1. Rotate.
Rotate. V2.
10 degrees, positive rate, gears coming up. Beautiful stuff. Okay, I'm not sure why it has deselected heading select, but there we are again. Cool, looking good. That was a good departure. A little bit bumpy, but that makes, of course, a lot of sense. Mid-time in the desert and 90 knots of wind. So we can expect a few turbulence. Okay, let's go autopilot, and power is coming back to climb power. And let's go turn off some taxi lights to off. And yes, speeding up, and then we can go direct. Egmore. I like that, and LNAV. Beautiful flaps 5. Flaps 1 was a bit late. And flaps up. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward departure, also not too busy Bahrain airport today. And yeah, we are cleared above 250 knots, which makes a lot of sense. Although we are going really fast to 70, that's quite a bit, but fine for me. And yeah, climbing out of Bahrain. And on that note, enjoy the music and view mode, and then I will meet you back in around 6 hours when we do our first landing of the Formula 1 season into East Midlands. See you in a bit. Hello folks, welcome back to the flight deck. As you can see, it is already getting a little bit dark, or maybe not dark, but we can see that yeah, sun is pretty low already, somewhere over there. There it is. So I've turned up the background lighting a little bit, and yeah, we are nicely descending into East Midlands, already coming up to the 10,000 feet mark. So let's put those landing lights on, and then the other ones when we are cleared to land. And yeah, that was a pretty smooth ride over from Bahrain. Also pretty cool routing. We have passed Istanbul, but we couldn't see any of it as it was blocked out by the clouds. And then later on we flew over Frankfurt, which we saw quite nicely. And yeah, now into East Midlands, and you can see around, it's a beautiful day here in the UK. Not a single cloud around. Oh no, there's a cloud. Okay, a few clouds around, but nothing crazy. Yeah, in general, pretty nice weather. Right, so we have about 20 miles to go to the final approach. Just double checking, there is some, yeah, Upduk, which is the next waypoint. We do have a speed constraint of 220. I wonder when the aircraft's gonna decide to slow down. Should do so any second, and then we also need to drop flaps 1 already in order to help it slow down. Yeah, right, there we go. Okay, so flap 1. And now we can go down to 220. Yeah, having a quick look at the weather. We have 7 knots of wind at 200. We are going to land ILS runway 27, so we can expect a little bit of a crosswind, nothing crazy. And then temperatures of 20 degrees, clear skies, super nice. And yeah, runway down in East Midlands is not exactly insanely long, so we have, I mean, it's still a bit, almost 10,000 feet available. And yeah, I've selected auto brakes 2, and this will slow us down nicely, hopefully, and then we can exit at the very last exit of the runway, which will be the closest one to the cargo apron. So that's the plan. And yeah, in terms of landing, there's not much to say really. It's pretty straightforward, simple ILS. Go around altitude will be 3,000. Just climbing straight ahead for a couple of miles. So all pretty straightforward. Yeah, we can see it's a little bit bumpy just now. And also the scenery is already starting to load in. It's quite nice. For the next waypoint, I've manually dialed 190. But since we're only 11 miles out now, I think it's a good time to start slowing down. So 190, and therefore we need flaps 5 at least. And yeah, let's maybe try to descend a little bit faster now, since we are a touch above the glide slope. Okay, but now we are sort of spot on and descending a bit faster than we need to, and that's good. I actually don't want it to put in any power. I'm not quite sure why it's doing this, but now we should be fine nevertheless. Okay, let's go flap 10, only 8 miles out. It's a pretty short final approach. And that's the localizer, and then this should be the glide slope there. It is cool. Speed 180.
2500.
Yeah, only 7 miles now. We are quite close already. So final approach speed gonna be 153 plus 5 makes 158. So let's drop the gear. And flaps 20. And flaps full, and those go to arm, and then we have the landing checklist. Speed brakes is armed, landing gear is down and green. Flaps are 30, green light, and cabin crews notified. Landing checklist completed. So we will pop on those, turn offs, taxis. And then we are, I believe, good to take the aircraft. Cool, so, well, this goes to 3,000, but then we should be set. So wish me luck, guys. I'm not quite sure when our last 747 landing was. Feels like quite a while ago. And it is, yeah, it's quite bumpy now. And here we definitely want to make sure to deliver Hamilton's car in one piece and not break it on the landing. That would be pretty bad. Although I think these cars are, they can take quite a bit more than a hard landing.
Approaching 27.
These winds are really annoying. I didn't expect it to be that bad. Maybe they, the turbulence will stop closer to the ground. Okay, Firebird 5314 cleared to land. Oh, okay, some textures just loading in right now. Continue. Yeah, a little bit hard, but it's okay. We have had worse. Full power reverse thrust. Love the sound of it. Cool. So 70 knots. Decelerating. Nice. We have made it, guys. Welcome to East Midlands. And yeah, that's gonna work out quite nice. First things first, very short taxi. So let's fire up the APU. And then we can already ask GSX to prepare the stand, and this will be 111 ideally. Let's see if that's available. 0 gates. Okay, that's quite something. Interesting. Okay, so speed brakes, flaps come up. And yeah, that's the last exit which we wanted to take. Seems like a bit of a tight taxiway here. Okay, landing lights come off, strobes come off, and flight time 6:22. Okay, right-hand turn, and then another left-hand turn. And then I will try to set up GSX again. I didn't really look at the vertical speed when we touched down, but I think it was alright. It was, I mean, it was not exactly greaser, but I think that was totally sort of within the range of a good landing. What else? APU is available. That's perfect. Okay, I'm quickly going to take a look at GSX and see what's going on there. Okay, I could set it up now. The issue was all of these gates are apparently too small for us. And yeah, now we have this gate over there, and then maybe we need to adjust it when we are parked. And also VORs, traffic, weather. Okay, now I didn't monitor the engine cooldown time, but I think we should be fine. Switching off number 2. Alright, so parking brake, APU is running. Let's put those 2 on and then we can kill the other engines. Clock time 6:35 and then beacons, nav lights are staying on. And yeah, fuel pumps of course. And hydraulics. Cool, so over to, here we are, wheel shocks, ground power, and the shutdown checklist. Hydraulic pumps are off, parking brake is set, fuel control switches are cut off, fuel pump switches are off, fuel control switches, okay, now I got it. And external power is on. I'm gonna leave the one off for the moment so we can open the doors and then we can ask for deloading if it works. And then the doors open, 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 and forward after cargo like that. Cool, that's all from the flight deck. Alright guys, so welcome once again to East Midlands. Here we are. We have completed our first flight of the Formula 1 schedule. Now next up, when the next race is down in Italy, in Imola, I am not sure if they are doing any flight down there. I would assume they are rather doing it on the road. However, if you do happen to see anything on Flight Radar or Flight Aware or whatever you are using, and you think this might be related to F1, then I would be super happy if you can notify me on that. I would be super grateful. And other than that, then there's a couple of European races coming up, and then the first one overseas is going to be Baku, and that's on the 6th of June. So it's going to be a couple of weeks now without any flights, most likely. But after that, there's quite a couple of nice flights which we are going to do. So very much looking forward to that. Right, and on this beautiful evening light here on the 747, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys and thank you very much for joining. Feel free to like and subscribe and also leave comments down below, that would be nice. And yeah, see you next time. Take care.